Hello and welcome back. This is Coach Carol, following on with our tutorials in how to make the best use of Claude 3.5 to unlock your family's past. I'm looking at the digital download called Genealogy 2.0. And we're at the point where we're going to follow our story and do two more things to enhance its narrative structure. That is to identify intriguing angles and to create suspense. So what we'll ask Claude to do now is, with our sample prompt, a variation of this one, we will highlight any unique or surprising aspects of our ancestors' life that would serve well in our opening paragraph. So over here in Claude, I've put that prompt in place with some instructions. Because remember, it left us with this question about whether we would like to refine any more of this introduction and then move on to the next section. Actually, I think we should say that let's continue to refine this introduction and introduce the next element in this opening chapter, and that is, for the intriguing concept, what aspects of daily life for a shoemaker in this era might be most surprising or intriguing to a modern reader. And further instructions here are blend this into the opening paragraphs and create our first chapter. Let's see how it will do with that. Notice the spelling error there, and click on the red button. So it tells us what it's going to do, then it does it. And this time creating a document called Chapter 1, The Shoemaker's Rebellion. And it's hopefully blending in some of the intriguing aspects of daily life as a shoemaker in Hampshire, UK in the 1830s. And on the left, it's telling us how it has included the key elements, the use of tallow candles and firelight for illumination, the unique tools of the cobbler's trade, the personalised nature of shoemaking and its intimate connection to customers' lives, the workshop as a hub of local information, the impact of industrialisation, and the early working hours dictated by natural light. And so over here on our finished chapter, scroll to the top, it has incorporated those. We can hear and see and actually feel what it was like to work in this workshop as Enos was as a shoemaker in this era. And here are some of the aspects. The workshop itself would have seemed alien to modern eyes. Tallow candles and a small fire provided the only light, their flickering glow casting dancing shadows on walls lined with wooden lasts of various sizes. So this is working to our plan to include to identify intriguing and angles. Falling over my words. The third thing that we want to do in enhancing this narrative structure is to create some suspense. So I'll pause here and put in place a new prompt. Now we're ready to create a little more suspense with a sample prompt, a little bit like this one here. So I've managed that one in context with this story and put it in place. How can I create suspense in the opening paragraph of my story about my ancestors' involvement in the swing riots? And that's now harking back to this suggestion that it had as the opening paragraph, which it has put into the finished chapter over here on the right-hand side. So we're just adding a little more suspense to it now. see what it does with that. Scrolling to the bottom. Here we go. All right, it's now adding an element of suspense. So what it's done is added a couple more paragraphs to the beginning of our story. And it creates suspense by setting a tense atmosphere, foreshadowing the dramatic consequences of his actions, highlighting the internal conflict, using sensory details to create a vivid, suspenseful scene, and ending with a cliffhanger. This is ideal. These are the tools of the storytellers. Let's go back and see what it did. And this is now the beginning. The candle flickered ominously as Enos Didham's hand hovered over the parchment, his quill trembling slightly. Outside, the Hampshire countryside lay shrouded in an uneasy pre-dawn mist. Not sure about pre-dawn, but we'll see. As if the very land held its breath in anticipation. A little flowery. It was 1830, and change hung in the air like gunpowder, awaiting only a spark to ignite. Useful. Enos knew with a certainty that chilled him to the bone that the words he was about to write would change everything. All right, it's done exactly that. It's created that suspense and really brought the reader in to this whole story. So that is the end of this particular video. I'll be back later with more.